Jacked. As always, what's new? YouTube, Armtillery Gang. What's going on? Another great episode 5, I believe, brought to you by Doobie Snacks. As always, let's get this shared everywhere. So let's see. Oh, there I am, live. Let's go ahead and share that on the Facebook. All right. Throw the biceps up if you're in there. Oh yeah, let's go. All right. Let's get this in the group chip chat. All right, group chat's alive. Facebook's alive. Beautiful. I'll send some links out here in a little bit. We are jamming. What it do? It's your boy Big Country in the house. I love it. New nickname. I still like the Lumberjack Giant, but whatever. Big Country. Roy Nelson. Shout out to Mr. Stephen Milne in the house. We'll be getting to some of his stuff a little bit later here. All right. So we're going to let a little bit more people join in here, and then we're going to get started on a few things. We'll have some some people join in. Very first thing that we're going to go over tonight will be the rankings update and everything that kind of happened over the weekend. February 3rd, we had a bunch of super matches take place in my backyard. That was fun. And some of them were some ranking matches. A lot of them were left-handed. So there was a lot of not movement, I guess, until the left-handed rankings comes out. Hello, good sir, Mr. Patrick Miller from Utah. What's going on, brother? I've got one of my participants on tonight that will be going to your tournament. And then potentially here in the next, and Miss Angela, hello, both of you guys. It's so good to see you guys. That's going to be going out there, Mr. Big Ben Freeman from Armed Combat. And then also Ed and Eric are going to be going on. Possible I have Ed on. Eric I asked to come on, but he had some things that he had to get into. So hopefully maybe I can get him on prior to, but I would love to maybe take a look at your guys' flyer if I can get it up by the end of the day, because I will be looking up some of the other flyers. So yeah, but if you guys don't know, Angela and Patrick Miller from Utah, some of the best people, some of the best organizers. Shout out to them. If you are able to make it out to their tournament, it is going to be a good one. It was last year. So yeah, we're going to talk about some of the rankings changes that happened from the 3rd. We're going to watch some of the videos that took place. We're going to have Big Ben to talk about his match that took place against Stefan, who we've got here in the chat as well. I've got a big announcement that I'm going to let off fire here in a little bit, probably at the 10-minute mark once we hopefully get a few more people on. But so that's going to be that. And basically that's about it. I might have a few more other things that need to be covered, but other than that, please, if you got any questions, throw them up in the chit chat. Today's a simple one. Okay, here we go. Here's that. Let me see if I can email it to myself. Okay. And then let me see real quick if I can't just open up another link for that like I do the other ones. Beautiful. It worked. All right. So once again, if you're in there, Mr. Omar Rivera, what's going on? If you're in here, throw the biceps up in the chat. Please share this anywhere you can. If you have a group chat, if for arm wrestling, if you have a Facebook, if you're on your mama's Instagram, whatever, please go ahead and share this so we can get everybody on here. And I guess we can start to take a look here at some of the things that transpired over the weekend. Let me see if I can share my screen correctly. Okay. So I believe what we are looking at here is the rankings for the Arizona right hand. So I can't see you guys, but hopefully you can hear me. If something's not working, someone throw it up in the group chat. But let's take a look. 242, there was one big change, and that was the number 9 here and the number 10 here, which is Mr. Stephen Milne and Ben Freeman. They essentially just switched spots. We got a big match announcement that's going to be taking place a little bit later with what I was talking to you guys about. That is in this weight class here. We'll scroll down to the 242, 221s. Not a whole lot of changes there. We did add Nathan Brown here to the bottom after his loss to Mr. Johnny Nazik, which was a great match. I would love to watch that match because that was a great match. 220s, we had no matches on the right hand, just on the left. Mr. Mikhail keeps his rank there. Mr. Cody Addison staying at 13 there. We did add Mr. Marcus Evers here, I'm sorry, at the very bottom because he will be competing right-handed, although he did compete left-handed this past weekend. We've got the 198, 188s. I don't see anything added here. This I do need to change. I do need to change. So I'm going to put a note down here to move Mr. Aaron Barden to the 242s because that's where he has to be after his match with Scott, and I forgot to change that. So that's my bad. I will go ahead and change that. I also need to move Mr. Tim Stepp because Tim Stepp told me he weighs less. So we're going to go ahead and make those changes as of the 15th of this month, day after your sweetheart day. What else we got? 187, 177. Aaron Schiermeyer sits comfortably on top there, it looks like. Alex McManus asked to get moved to the 195, this one right here. But if he does that, then he's going to have to go to the bottom of the weight class. So I'll ask him what he would want to do, but for the most part, I would keep your spot if I were you, my man, because number 2 is comfy. What else we got? We got 176, 166. That ain't moving, changing anytime soon. None of that. Although I would like to see Donald versus Brugger. Let me see something right here. Let me see something right here. All right, let's go ahead and continue on with this rankings here. Bottom here, 165 through 156. We got Kirby comfortably up top. He did have a match with Mr. Victor and was decisive. So I don't see a whole lot of movement happening here. Although I will say I do need to, and I believe this is in my notes already, but I need to move Mr. DeAnthony to the 165. I need to move him up. So he's going to be moving up, and he'll most likely be at the bottom. So once again, he'll need to challenge his way on up, but that will be fun. Everything moves on up. And we do have an addition here at the bottom, Mr. Chris Fonseca, who was at my last 2 practices. Really strong Mexican kid, probably like 120, 130, something like that. Really strong dude. So there is your... Sweet. Everything is working. Good to go. Love to hear it. So there's your Arizona rankings. Not a whole ton of changes. A lot of additives. Once again, this is a week by week thing that I kind of changed. There's going to be 2 updates, 2 main updates a month, unless that month involves a big super match series. And if that's the case, then there will be an update the day after the super match series, like there was on the 3rd. So there'll be one on the 15th, and then there'll most likely be one right before the end of the month, depending on if anything happens in Utah, anything like that. So yeah, so that's looking like that for the rankings. We don't have a whole lot of call outs that I know of for the most part. There are a few things, and we'll go over we're at the 12-minute mark, so we'll go over the announcement now. But this goes into some of the call outs that I was just mentioning. But the next super match series, like we just had on the 3rd, will be taking place March 30th. Okay. That is the last Saturday in March. It is the Saturday before Easter. Okay. We are going to do this at Dobson Riverview Park, which I'm going to pull up right now and we're going to take a look at together. But this will not be at my house. We are going to do this and try this for the first time at a park very near my house. So I have all the resources necessary. But it's huge. It's gorgeous. It's got a huge lakefront. It's perfect weather right now, as long as it's not raining. Please go, everybody, subscribe to Clayton Merrick YouTube channel. Brand new. Let's get him some subscribers. Let's get him hot off the press. But like I was saying, March 30th will be the next set of super matches that will be taking place. So set your dates, make your call outs. If you've got somebody in mind, now you've got a date to shoot for. If you didn't know when, we do have a few matches already set for that date that I would like to announce right now. Okay. I hope you're sitting down. But Mr. Stephen Milne going after Mr. Ben Freeman this last weekend was not enough for him. He wants to take it a step further and go for, I believe, the number 5 spot. Let me double check real quick. The number 6 spot, number 6 spot, Mr. Tim Costello. So we've got Stephen Milne versus Tim Costello currently set for March 30th. Okay. We also are in the works of making Dustin and Josiah happen that day, which was pushed back from February 3rd. That just happened. Okay. And let me tell you, based on what I felt from Josiah on Wednesday, Dustin, you got your hands full. So you better hope this dude does not train come up until March 30th. But that's number 2. That's the second match we have that we're working towards to getting for that day. And number 3, Mr. Cambrell Callahan said, I want to test my right now. Okay. And I believe him and Mr. Chris Fonseca will be having a match right-handed on March 30th. Okay. And this is once again in the 155 weight class. These are the little dudes. I think both of them weigh under 140, but this is going to be a speed match. Lots of power, lots of torque. These guys are really fast. Both really good for their weight. Really excited for this match, actually. Once again, it's going to be on the right hand. So that's number 3. So we've already got 3 super matches, good ones set. I don't think I'm missing any. But we do have A lot that can happen in that amount of time, because remember, we've got March 2nd, well, we've got Utah that's happening this month. Then March 2nd is the Battle of the Brave. And then March 16th, a lot of us are going out to Vegas. A lot of us are going out to Vegas. Okay. So I do want to go over some potentials that I like, that I would like to see potentially that day or around that day, if they're able, that I'll go over right now. I would love to hear your guys' opinions. And then after that, we're going to go into some of the flyers that I was just talking about for those tournaments. Okay. Stefan Milne says, who wants it? It should be an easy match. Ooh, Tim Costello. That is not going to be an easy match. Tell you that. Did Jesus Mata lose against John Carlson? He did, but it was 3-2, and he injured Mr. Carlson in the meantime. I believe blew out his tennis elbow tendon. So, yeah, that was a very close match. Could have gone either way on a few. There might have been I don't know. I don't want to say. It was a good match. It was a great match. It was a really good match. Shout out to John Carlson. Hope you heal up, brother. Okay, so some of the potentials that I'd like to see, please shout these out, instigate these with me. Just when you're looking at the rankings and when you look at styles, some ones that I really like. Luis Barrera versus Ron Flanick. Love that match on the right hand. I train a lot with Luis, good friend of mine. Ron, someone who's new and up and coming, only had a few ready-go tournaments, has only been to a few true practices, and is starting to ever more love the sport. Yikes, I hope he recovers quickly. Jesus looks really good. John Carlson is really strong. Yes, John Carlson is really strong. Mr. Justin Maynor, sitting pretty in the 242s. Would love to see him go up against Cristobal from Mexico. Now, I know what you guys are saying. Oh my gosh, Cristobal is so strong. Go back and watch Arizona State. Now, everybody's not fresh when in tournament, but you go back, you watch that match, and you tell me that we could not make that a match with Justin, just a little bit more training, which he has had. Would love to see that match, Cristobal versus Justin Maynor. I would love to have a match with Luke Loeffler. I think that's in due time. I think we can probably both meet at a pretty similar weight and make that happen just about any time. Would love to make that happen on the right hand. Don't care about the left hand. Let's see. Clayton versus Steve. I do believe that might be in the works for March 30th as well. Let me talk to my guys. Let me talk to my dudes. I don't know if the mother-son team is in the chat. You'll have to let me know. Clayton, you tell me. You're in the chat clearly. If you guys agreed on that date, but March 30th would work perfect, because that would be another great match. Clayton versus Steve West. We still got to see Sid versus Dustin at some point. That match ex-nayed because Sid was sick for December 9th. Alex Lozano said that would be a killer match. I agree. I don't even know which one you're talking about, but I came up with them, so I agree. Sid versus Dustin. We need to make that happen. So March 30th. Sid, if you're watching this, Dustin, if you're watching this, if you don't compete on the 2nd and you don't travel on the whole month of March, what the hell are you doing? Let's make it happen. Someone instigate this match with me, please. Okay. It just it just fizzled off and now it's never going to happen. And if not, then throw Rocco's name in the hat because he wants me to take him off the rankings. But, I want to see him. I want to see him battle. I want to see him fight. Right. Let's see. Donald versus Brugger, like we were just looking at earlier. Oh man, that would be a great match. Brugger coming off of some injuries, for the last 3 years, never trains, just shows up to practice and kills everybody while he's there. And then you've got Donald, who's put on 90 pounds in the last 6 months of pure muscle, arm wrestles his elbow off, and is just a killer. So I just can't imagine who wouldn't want to see that match. That would be a great match. Even if it's one-sided and we find out in the round 1, they're both going to give it their all. So we'd really like to see that match, Donald versus Michael Brugger. He just had a match, but Jesus Mata versus Nate Cashin. Okay, so Nate Cashin is a old Liberty Performance gym goon who we met at our Liberty Days, and extremely strong hand, really good cup, strong side pressure, is still putting some pieces together, but I believe is starting to fall in love with arm wrestling again. He's training some guys. So when it comes to weight classes, styles, I think them two would make a great match. I don't know who I have winning that match. I would have Nate on the strength side, and then I would have Nate on the, or I'm sorry, I'd have Nate on the strength side, Jesus on the technical side. So that could be a fun match. I want to see, so D'Anthony is going to be moving from the 155 class into the 165 class. I would love to see him take on Juanito, because it sounds like Dustin Poston is going to be sitting pretty comfortably at 155, and that him and Juanito match would be a catch weight. So why don't we throw D'Anthony and Juanito in the mix? That would be a fun match. Don't know where Juanito is right now as far as his training and his strength, but always respect him and love his insight. So I think that would be a killer match. Instigate that one with me. What's up, guys? Mother-son team, Mr. Steve West. Steve, are you having a match with Clayton on March 30th or with the rest of the super matches, or what's going on? Playa. I announced, and we're going to go over the spot here in just a sec. But then the last one I've got is Matthew Bustamante versus Spencer Samore. Okay, Spencer is in one of my training, or one of my YouTube videos, The Return of Ron. He's in the very last clip. Very, very strong right-handed, low-handed top roller, just like Matthew Bustamante. They're both very close to that 220 range. Boom, there we go. Yes, it is set. So we got 4 matches for March 30th. It's going down. Set your calendars. Call these people out. Let's make it happen. But yes, Spencer Samore versus Matthew Bustamante on the right hand. I would love to see that match. I think that's another good one. Styles make matches. 2 low-handed top rollers, both trying to get their lane, and they're both very strong. Bustamante should have the experience side, and Samore, I would say, has the length because he's taller, might even have the strength because he's a young guy just coming into that frame and that size. So I like that match a lot. Let's take a look at the, I'm going to show you on Google Earth what it looks like, the Dobson Riverview Park, so you guys can kind of get an idea of what we're talking about. But March 30th, we've got Clayton versus Steve. We've got Stefan Milne versus Tim Costello. We've got Chris Fonseca versus Cambro Callahan, and we're missing one, Dustin versus Josiah. Okay, so some great matches. This is the place that we'll be having it at. Let me see if I can't share my screen again. Okay. So this is Sloan Park. And this is Dobson Riverview Park. Huge lake, beautiful lake. This right here is Dobson and Rio Salado. Dobson is the street I live on anyways, and this is about a mile away from my house. So if you're going to my practices, this is literally a mile away. It's not that much of a difference, okay? What we would do is we would travel down Dobson. We'd pass Rio Salado. We'd go through here, and we'd make this left right here into this park area, okay? And then we have a parking lot right here for parking, okay, to your left. And then when I zoom in here, what my idea is you've got park benches. These blue Ramadas are all park benches. And then right in the center here is a big fountain that we could use as a backdrop. Have all our super matches here, have practice tables around. And then after the super matches, just kind of shoot the shit. If someone wants to grill, they can bring their stuff, bring waters for everybody, have lawn chairs. This over here is a big climbing jungle gym to the right here in the center is a big climbing jungle gym for kids. If you want to bring your kids and your family, if this isn't a good spot, I'm going to check it out. But if this isn't a good spot, then I always figured we could just bring it to the lake itself and have it either something like here in the center with this circle, or even to the right where it says Lake Ramada. You've got options, right? So I'm going to check this out the few weekends prior each weekend to see whether or not it gets busy on Saturdays, what areas get busy, whether or not it can hold our group or not. But I think that would be a ton of fun. I think Jesse versus John Belak, you don't want that smoke, bro. You don't want that smoke. I am otherworldly strong right now. But I'd love to. I would take that match just because of how much I miss you, Jesse. I would take that match. But yeah, so Dobson Riverview, that would be a lot of fun. Have that lake background, even the fountain background would be fun. Have your kids out. There's food right across. It just makes a lot of sense. I think there's a food truck there by that same area. I just don't know what time they set up. So I think this makes a lot of sense. I'm trying to get this away from my house for a few reasons. One, there's a good chance I'm moving here coming soon. Number two, I can't do liabilities anymore. I don't want to worry about someone getting hurt. I don't want to print flyers and liability sheets every time someone's doing something. It's too much. When it's at a park, that kind of takes this off my hands. Same thing with the bathrooms and the getting people water and me being a host the whole time. It's a lot for me when I would like to enjoy arm wrestling practice a little bit more. And it seems like these are going to continue to be a thing. And I would love to be the forefront of it. I would love to be the host. I don't mind. But you got to realize I don't want to burn myself out with this. I don't want it to be too much on my end to the point where I'm sick of it. So I'm trying to mitigate it in a way to where I can find it to be a win for everybody. With the resources that I'm bringing, I'm just choosing a park close to my house. I'm bringing 2 tables, a platform, probably food and drinks, possibly straps, everything. And I'm the one that's kind of setting them up. So for the most part, I'm going to make it easy on me. We'll try it out. Dobson Riverview doesn't work. There's a million parks in this state. We'll figure it out. But I don't want it to be such a crammed space. I don't want you standing in my dog crap in my backyard if it gets to the point where I can't plan ahead. There's too many factors and characteristics. So bear with me, but we're going to try to make this one work on March 30th at Dobson Riverview Park. We got 4 matches, maybe 5 if Jesse wants to smoke. Let's get, bro, do you want some of that? Are you sure, bro? You've been out the game. You've been sitting on the couch, Dad. I'm teasing. Let's go over the flyers for this coming month and next month. Let's do Utah first. So let's go share. All right. We are looking at the Utah State Arm Wrestling Championships. Okay. The Fraternal Order of the Eagles. It is kind of like a community house with a bar in it. It's dope. Good space, plenty of space. It is Ogden Eagles and Golden Beverage. Early weigh-ins are the 16th, and the tournament is going to take place on the 17th. And that is exactly 2 weeks from today, I believe. No, that's next weekend. That is a week from tomorrow. Holy shnikes. Okay, so if you're going out here, you are resting from now on. February 17th, early weigh-ins. Hold on one sec. I'm going to stop sharing this for a second. I'm going to click this again. Okay, I'm sorry. Back to it. If you didn't hear me or if that wasn't working, Ogden Eagles and Golden Beverage present 2024 Utah State Arm Wrestling Championships. Fraternal Order of the Eagles. It's kind of like a community house. It's got a bar in there. I was there last year. Great time. February 17th is a week from tomorrow. You got early weigh-ins the day prior at 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. So you got a 3-hour window there the day before. Or you can weigh in the day of from 10 to 12. $30, $10 for each additional arm. Let me tell you, Patrick and Angela, I love you so much for doing that. Thank you for not gouging arm wrestlers and saying $50 every time you want to join a class, because this is what it's about. This will get you to get people to join multiple classes and to arm wrestle their asses off. So shout out to Angela and Patrick Miller. $50 to add a 6-man team, 1 person per weight class. Okay, they did that last year, I believe. Team prize, 1 team trophy, and 600 cash prize. Good luck beating the Team Spur or the Sills, but Arizona, we brought everything we could last year, and it was a hard, tough road for us. Free t-shirt for the first 30 entries. Gotta love it. Welcome back, kids. So it looks like kids will be invited this year. Love that. And then you got your weight classes, which I'm going to zoom into here. We've got open. Whoa, that's a big bottom. Whoa. So that means you're not expecting a big lightweight turnout. 0 to 187. That's going to be crappy for the 155ers, I'll tell you that. You got guys from 195 that could make that 187 very easily. Rough. 188 to 220, love that. 221 to 245, that's a big one too. Got to love that. And 246 over, okay. Looks like it's about the same thing for novice. And then women's, you got your 2, your 145 and 145 over. Cool. Love it. Other than that 187, but who knows? If you don't have the turnout for it, then why are you gonna do it, right? I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. Let's see what we got in the chat. Everyone hit that like button for John. 188 to 220, looking real easy for a 220 guy, yeah. And yes, it is. I'm guessing Clayton is agreeing with me. Don't forget to shout out Edo versus Jose for Cervantes. 245 super match, best of 5. Cervantes is from Washington. I believe the legendary Vulcan is in the chat. I did tell him that he was more than welcome to come on here and to talk about the super match with him. But I think he just thinks it's going to be so easy that he doesn't even need to talk about it. No, I'm teasing, Angela. I'm teasing. I believe he couldn't get to make it on for the time frame. Balkan, if you're on here and you want to join on, text us, put this in the chat right now, and I will get you on here. I'll send you the link right now. I would love to. I did tell you I would if you wanted to. You put in the chat, Ed, if you're here, I'd love to get you on. But it is Ed versus Jose Cervantes for a 245 super match, best of 5. I believe that's taking place beforehand. Cervantes is from Washington, which is crazy because I went out there and we didn't see him. We never get enough small guys. Yeah, like I said, that just makes sense. No worries. But yes, big shout out to the legendary one. He's going to go crush this guy from Washington. It's going to be great. It's going to be a good time. Let's go ahead and look at now. You know what? Before I do that, what time is 7:30? Okay, let's go ahead and look at March 2nd here, which is the big Arizona tournament that a lot of these Arizona guys are getting ready for. Here we go. The John Brezink East versus West qualifier. It's also some funky weight classes, 165 to 187. So I'm guessing 0 to 165, 165 to 187, 209 to 230, and then 231 plus. Okay. I can tell you right now, the 0 to 155, if Joseph shows up, it's his. 165 to 187, if Aaron Blevins shows up, is his. 209 to 230 if which I'm confused about. I don't know how this works. 165 to 187. Does that mean there's a 187 to 209? And if that's a weight class, that's going to be Eric Wolf if he's going to make that. And then if you've got 209 to 230, that's going to be Caleb Ricks or Michael Bedwell. And then 231 would be the same, whoever doesn't make that weight. Caleb Ricks, Michael Bedwell. Potentially Serbian Hammer Rocco if he competes. Potentially Dustin if he competes. There's a little birdie that said Brandon Allen might come out here. So you got a lot of potential out here in the 231s. Let's see. Women's pro and ams. Who the hell is going to show up for women's? It's a pro. I don't know, but if they do, I'd love to see it. Love to see it. Saturday, March 2nd, 2024. I do have the. Let's do this real quickly, but I'll do this while I have Dustin's Facebook up real quick. We'll go to that event. Believe there's some information on here. It is at the Highland Games, 2-day long celebration. Arm wrestling, multiple events occur throughout the day. Arm wrestling starts at 1 o'clock. Let's see. Arm wrestling format will be as follows: 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. check-in and weigh-ins. So weigh-ins for this will be at 7, starting at 7 to 9 a.m. Okay. And then we got 10 a.m. brackets announced in competitors meeting, which everyone needs to be there for. I'm winking. 10:15, the tournament begins. So that means 10:30, somewhere between 10:30 and 11, the tournament begins. And then 3 o'clock is the matches. Geez, that is 5 hours of expected arm wrestling. 4 o'clock award ceremony. 5:30 after party. What? Let me stop sharing this for a second. After party. Let's go, Dustin. What is going on? Send link. Send location, says the legendary Bulkin. Let's get the legendary Bulkin in here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get him in here. Let's get him in here. Okay. Okay. Sweetness, 6 sweetness. So, oh wait, I was still reading that. So we got an after party, 5:30, probably be closer to 6 o'clock, maybe even 7, depending. Trust me, tournaments run late. That's just how it goes. There's nothing that we can do. Weight classes. Oh, where'd it go? Where'd you go? Yeah, it says weight classes for both men's pro and amateur: 0 to 165, 166 to 187, 188 to 209, 210 to 230, and 231 plus. And this guy won't be there because he'll be crushing in Colorado.
Dude, that Colorado event just keeps getting better and better.
Tell me why.
So initially it was, I got to go back to see if it hasn't changed yet, but initially it was $5,000 for first place.
Oh, now it's the stem cell stuff, right?
Now it's the 5,000 plus stem cells. Second place gets 1,000. I think third place gets 1,000 too.
Now you care. Now you want to win, huh?
Well, I mean, I don't care about second and third place, but
you want some stemmies. Let's go.
You know, I don't know what the hell stem cells would even do if you're not injured. But I mean, man, you could use some stem cells for sure.
Yeah, but you look at these guys that are getting it, and they're guys that have been doing it for like 15 years, and in the last 5 they've sucked because of their elbow or their wrist or something like that. So totally makes sense, and I love that it's not a steroid like phase, and it's healing and it's something natural, and so I'm on board for it. I love it. Yeah, it sucks that it costs a bunch of money, but things like this are great. So shout out to Corey Miller and Frank Callahan for getting those hookups. Let me catch up in these chats real quick. Don't forget the 189 to 208, says Steve. 188 to 208. Eric agreed to not slip with me. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. The champ is here, says Kevin Grip. I'm guessing he's talking about me. The Chris and Cam match is goons. Be interesting. I like it. That's your weight class, bro. So you should get in there, Omar. And 10K worth of stuff for first. Yeah, Kevin, what a turnout that's going to be. So if you don't know what we're talking about, the Super 64 by the Airs rating system, Mr. Muslik will be going out there to compete, and the 242s, and we are very excited for him. But the reason we have you on here is to talk a little bit about your trip out, your second year now, going out to Utah. Are you excited? Are you nervous about this Well, this year you're doubling up. You got a super match and a tournament. So
So I think last year I got second place or something like that. Um, and I think I did 2 or 3 weight classes. I'm thinking this year. So Utah is there. 2 weeks goes by and then the 64 happens. So I'm thinking maybe if I do multiple weight classes, that would be a good preparation for that event. I might do the 220 and the one above and supers, or just the two of them. I don't know, but it's going to be fun regardless. I don't think the level of competition is that high compared to maybe like a California tournament,
right.
like a LA Fit Expo or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
the best guys are like, of course, you got Cody Merritt, you have Jordan Sill,
Yeah.
and then Eric, of course. But
They had that guy from I can't remember he was from like a Latin American country or something.
oh, the Colombian guy,
That dude was strong as shit.
yeah, he beat what's his fucking name? He beat Robbie Topi.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe Robbie Topi might be out there. Lewis, don't worry. I plan on having you on hopefully next week. I haven't talked to you about it, but I'd like to have you on before the Super 64 because I want to have you, Ed, Cristobal, everybody. Greg had an invitation, but he's not going to be able to go, so he can translate for Cristobal. But I'd like to have all you guys on for a Super 64 special. But Lewis, put in the chat, are you going to be going out to Utah this year? I believe he was out there last year. Saray Brown will also be there. I'm sure he is definitely a problem for most guys. Yeah, and the gap that he's made in the last year also, Saray didn't do well last year because I think we had is that the year that he beat Rocco?
Yeah, that's the last time he beat Rocco, and then
Yeah,
Rocco beat him in Colorado.
that's right. That's
I
right.
don't think we're gonna have any supers coming though.
No, no. So for what I know, it is you, Big Ben, Eric, the Mata brothers,
Hmm. That's cool.
and yeah, and for the most part, I believe that's all I know. I don't
Big
think
Ben is gonna be in amateurs. You think?
I hope not, but probably.
I mean, I don't consider him to be a pro, so. But
But at some point you got to start testing the waters a little bit. I
I would
guess
do if I was him. I would do both.
I would do both.
Yeah, why not?
And did you say I'm sorry, I wasn't paying? Well, and speaking of which, look who we got joining the chat.
Oh, well, there you go. The man himself.
We were just talking about you, buddy.
Oh, actually, for whatever, I've been dealing with some stuff, so I've actually missed anything that's happened so far, including whatever your big announcement was.
Well, the big announcement was March 30th. We're having a bunch of super matches again at Dobson Riverview Park.
Oh, okay.
Stefan Milne will be taking on Tim Costello. That's basically the only one that you'll be caring about. John, you're still coming right. I am not because I have double markets that day, and then I also am saving money for the Vegas trip for the next month. So no, I will not be going out there to Utah. But Big Ben, we were talking about you going out to Utah and who all was going out there. What classes are you going to be participating in?
The only class I'm available for is super heavyweight amateur.
You're not going to be pulling open at all.
No, I mean, I'll see what happens when I get there. Like, if it's like a really short number and I can like jump in for a cheap price or something like that, I might. But like, I don't typically pull open. So,
what it looked like on the flyers is $30 for your original arm, and then $10 after that every class.
Yeah. So I was thinking about throwing in some extra, but nothing to fish. I was going to see how things go when I get there. In fact,
you should, man. You should both classes.
Right. So
being pro is a mindset.
It is. And then I forgot to ask when you were saying what you were going to do, Ed, but are you going to be doing both right and left-handed?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing the plan is 220 right and left, and then the class above that right and left.
Perfect.
Okay,
then,
so just to confirm, you're doing the tournament and the super match.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, smash the guy and then smash the competition.
Use it as a warm-up, he says.
Yeah. Or he'll smash me. I don't know. He does have a win on Jody Williams. So, but little does he know that Jody was kind of semi-injured when he had that victory. But everyone is beatable, so I don't know.
Say you got a win on Robbie Toppy.
And I'm also guessing that the win on Jody was right-handed.
Correct.
Jody is a left-handed dominant puller.
Yeah.
So-
I don't know how good Jody is right-handed.
He's not bad. He's not bad, but it's definitely not his focus arm. I believe he has injuries, and like you said, he might have been injured that day. I've never seen any footage on the guy. I would love to. If you know of a YouTube video, anybody knows, send me a link and I'll bring it up and we'll share it. Hell yeah. Take a belt home, baby. LOL. Yeah, baby. Let's go. Edo gets a belt. Oh, let's go.
Do I really get a belt if I win? That's cool.
Dude. That would be dope. That would
Add
be
that to the
dope.
collection.
Yeah. But that's exciting times. Let's see. Lewis just sent me. What is this? Yeah, but this is tomorrow, bro. Lewis sent me. All right, I'll save it for him and I'll go over it because I love you, bro. I'll do that for you. But it's tomorrow, so I doubt anybody will be going out to it, but we'll still get some eyes. Lewis, if I share this means that you're going to have to tell everybody whether or not there is a live stream that'll be taking place for this. But you've got so much happening, and once again, it's why I went over the flyers for it, which we're going to go over Vegas here in a little bit. But I just want to finish up anything and everything that is Utah. So, like I said, it's you two, Big Eric Wolf, and then the Mata brothers. Am I missing anybody? Big Ben, do you know of anybody else?
I want to say Aaron Barden also said he was going up for that one.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting.
To my knowledge, like something may change, but I believe last time I looked.
Okay. I love that. That's cool.
Hey, John, check your Facebook. I sent you a bunch of videos for Cervantes.
It looks like Angela is too. But the thing is are they YouTube links? Because I can only do it if it's a YouTube link.
Well, you can share your screen for your messenger and kind of do it that way.
Yeah, but I would have to log in through the computer, and I don't know how to do it that way.
Saying, just curious, Edo, how are you getting to Utah?
With the plane.
So am I. I think Aaron said he was driving. I don't know what the Matas are doing. Don't know what time you're getting in. We might want to try and coordinate on an Uber, man, because last time I checked, the Uber is going to cost me more than my flight.
What?
I'm not fucking around. It is ridiculous.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Because it's like 30 miles out of town. It's like not in Salt Lake. It's in Eugene. It's like 40 miles from the airport.
That's right.
Wait, hold on a second. So I arrive in Salt Lake City at 10 a.m. How far is it from the airport?
Last time we had to
I think Google said like 35 to like 38 miles, something like that.
Oh, that's not bad.
I think it was like a 30, 40-minute car ride. Yeah, I think I get in at 9 something. Gotta double check.
Let's see what the address is here. Ogden, Utah.
Yeah, I believe it was like not yeah, I said Eugene. That's where a company I work with goes from. Yeah, so it's Ogden, and I believe it's like 9:10.
Let's see.
9:10.
46 minutes away. Not terrible, but not bad.
Okay. No, I got like an Uber quote. I think they said it was gonna be like $70-$80 though.
Yeah. Ubers. It's always bad. If we can share an Uber, that'd be good.
No, absolutely. I'm down.
So believe it or not,
you're getting in at 10.
Shoot, man, I gotta pull.
Say cutting it a little close. I think they're gonna be open for an hour or two, but I think weigh-in start at 10.
Okay, so I'm getting in at 10 o'clock on Saturday.
Are you doing the same thing you did last time, flying in and
out
the day of?
That's what I'm doing.
I'm getting in at 10. I just do the tournament, and I just leave right after.
Oh, you're a psycho. Yeah, that's what we did last year, and it was rough.
My departure is at 10:10 p.m. So it's a little bit more doable.
Yeah, I think I'm in Utah. I'm leaving here at like 6 a.m. in Utah at like 8:39, and I depart at like 10.
Are you also leaving at 10 p.m.?
Yes.
Oh, we might be on the same flight.
Delta?
I think so. Delta it is.
It's what I did last year. That's hilarious.
It's but you're arriving at 10 though. I'm getting in at like 8:30 or 9.
Like a literal.
Yeah, we have different departures.
Okay, so let's take a look at. I just sent myself a video of Ed's opponent here slaying Mr. Jody Williams. So we'll see if this works.
So you're cutting it a little close. I think the weigh-in started like 10, but they're open for a few hours.
Yeah, Angela's got me. She's good.
But so you got a super match. Everyone's gonna have to wait for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right at 220 anyway.
Are those going down before or after? Those usually go before, right?
before the tournament?
Yeah.
I think it's like kids go first or something, and then the matches.
Yeah, I heard about that. They were gonna have a kids tournament.
I unfortunately I just emailed the video to myself and it did not work. So, but I will say, looking at that guy, he looks like a hand fighter, and that usually never works out.
I can share my screen face if you want.
Yeah, please,
Okay,
if you're
let's
able
do
to.
that.
Jose Cervantes is, yeah, it looks like a hand fighter. He looks like somebody who pronates through the top. If he loses his hand, it doesn't look like he's able to do anything. And every win that I saw was outside the straps. If you guys come in on Friday, I will pick you all up. Oh,
Hey!
Shout out to
Awesome.
Patrick Miller.
Say, I'll still pay just cause, man. I'll tip you. Just save my ass some money. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So if you guys want to contact Patrick Miller, if you don't have his, let me know and I will send it to you.
So I don't know if he's in So Strong.
He's not.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
So this
10
is your,
seconds.
This is your Jose Cervantes here, right there.
This is an excerpt from Fuller. All right, here's a little bit better.
Show the Jody one, the one right above.
The Jody.
Yeah. So Jody hits first. He stops
Yeah,
it
he
with his
catches
pronation up top and brings it back. Looks like a solid wrist. It looks like his hand is pretty good, but I'm sorry, Jody just does not have the hook back pressure power that Ed does. Also, once again, every single one of these matches, he wins outside the straps, which tells me that he's all hand, literally all hand. If you get him in the straps, I bet it's game over.
But you know what, though? I just had a match with two guys who have really good hands.
That's true, and you didn't even need the straps.
Yeah, and I highly doubt this guy's going to have a stronger hand than Steve.
Or John Carlson.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. When I gripped up with John, I was like, it was very reminiscent of Steve's hand, and I hate that feeling.
Yeah. It doesn't feel confident. Don't forget, guys, this kid is 18. It's still impressive. Oh, wow. Damn. Okay.
18 years old.
Okay, I didn't know that. So, yeah.
It's like newish, but I did not know his age.
Yeah. Wow. That is very impressive. To have a win on Jody at that age.
He does not look 18.
No, he doesn't. He looks like a grown man.
Yeah.
Well, I guess at 18 you get tried as one, but shout out to that kid because that's very fun. And yeah, so that should be fun for Edo. Ben, you're excited for Utah?
Yes. Funny random fact. I was just thinking to myself the other day. Speaking of which, I have been to 7 tournaments now, and every single match, win or loss, I have actually never had a single strap match in a tournament.
Really?
Really. It just occurred to me. I was thinking about the other day. I've actually never had a strap match.
We need to teach you how to slip then, buddy.
No, I know. I was actually thinking about talking to Ed while we're going to be out there because he was saying the last week on a podcast that he never has problems slipping. And I know
No.
Ed's a badass in general, and I know that helps. So, but anything that could do to help, I would appreciate.
And speaking of which, I know this is maybe a sensitive subject, but I did have you on to talk to you a little bit about it. As far as your match that happened last weekend, I want you to kind of talk to us a little bit about well, I guess both of you. We'll talk to Ed next, but
we both had matches. I wasn't sure you were talking to.
Yeah, but just like kind of what the initial grip up felt like with Stefan, because it was such an unknown entity and we didn't really know what to expect from that guy, right?
Yes, I had a very specific game plan going in. It completely fell apart. I was planning on high posting, trying to roll out through the top to get straps, especially because you guys were not allowing the
the dump wrist.
Yeah. You guys were doing the not all strips, just slaps. So I definitely tried to post and go high. And he was telling me in the after polls is that I had good pressure there, and he was struggling to hold on, but he definitely had more hand than me. And in the after polls, I think we were a lot closer than it looked for raw strength. But he just completely took my hand, and I was just unable to slip. He was able to contain me. Second round, I just tried to dive into my hook like I normally do. Again, took my hand. Third round, went back to the strap. It all looked the same from the outside. It did not last long.
Yeah.
But it was just too much hand, which is definitely where my weakness is at right now, which is why I was trying to get to the straps.
Gotcha.
Just unable to do it. And I feel like I said, we're a bit closer than I think it looked. Definitely stronger than me, definitely had me. But I know where I need to work on things, and just taking me a bit longer than I'd like to get there.
And now
but he's good, strong guy, though.
Very strong. Also beat Ed's brother left-handed pretty convincingly.
Yes.
Now he's going to be taking on Tim Costello the 30th. What do you think about that match? Who do you think wins that?
I believe that is going to be a very good match. I think that they're going to be similar on strength, very close. I believe Tim will have the experience. I personally believe Tim is going to pull it out. And I definitely think it's going to come down to who gets hand control.
Do you feel like Tim would have a hard time getting out of his hand?
I don't think so, because Tim was able to slip with Ryan, who I was also trying to slip with and unable to do so. So he has already proven he can do what I can't. So I would bet that if he wants to, he could get there.
Steve West says Tim Costello wins.
That's where my money would be. Although I do say it should be a competitive match. I don't think anyone's going to smash anybody, but my money's on Tim.
I think if Tim can make it about technicality, I think he will win. But Tim is still pretty new in himself to know how to do that. So
but I do believe right in that Leander, Stefan, or Leander, Ryan, Tim range in that grouping, I think is where he belongs, and we'll find out soon.
I do too. So the legendary one, why don't you tell us a little bit about your match that took place this last weekend?
Well, John did hurt himself. I don't know how much that affected his left-hand match with me. He doesn't seem like when he goes in here, he's pulling very much on the other hand.
Right. What I see is at his shoot, it's a pec deck where he's kind of coming in together.
He's basically just like kind of chopping down. This is what he does.
Yeah.
So all I had to do basically is the only thing I was focusing on is disengaging that. I know if I disengage that, he'll kind of be here.
Yeah.
And when I looked at some of his matches, it's not like he goes here and we're like, oh shit, I'm gonna slip. He doesn't do that. He holds on for dear life, and he like does this, or like he'll try to regain the position, which you're not supposed to do that. So I believe in the first match, I had him here, and then I kind of waited for him to make his situation worse. And so he came forward, and every time he would come forward, he would basically help me win.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of the way, one of the rounds, the one where you had kind of, I think it was not the very last round, but so it had been the second round, I believe, when you kind of did hold him and let him attack first.
Yeah, I think it was the third time we gripped up.
Yeah.
Second round.
Yeah, and that reminded me a lot of my pulling him on the right-handed to State Fair, because it's the same thing. He holds on for dear life, and I remember thinking after watching the match back, I'm thinking to myself, with the rule set of the State Fair, if John knew what he was doing and if he would have slipped, he would have took first place that day, because we would have had to go into that stupid power hook.
Yeah.
And
that's his thing.
And I'm a top roller, and that's exactly the lane he's trying to get into. I'm like, bro, if all you would have done is just let go of me, you would end up winning that day, right?
Yeah. I think it's also experience. I mean, you have to know yourself. If I'm ever in this position, I could fight, but it's a lot. You wanna win in the easiest, fastest way possible, and that's slipping, getting the straps. You don't want to make the match harder.
Very true. Please, I wanted to say this at the beginning of the live, but if you ever have questions, viewers, on this, and you're asking, we've got somebody like Ed or someone like me that you want to ask questions about, please in the chat, these Fridays are the time for you to do it. But thank you, Ed, for saying that. And please, youngins, take notes on some of this stuff that he's saying and that he says, because that is a great example of beautiful advice and knowledge that you can use. These little small tactics and stuff, they may seem like it doesn't mean a whole lot, but they take you all the way through. John Carlson is probably, I might be stronger than Ed, just like brute force wise. But Ed out arm wrestled him, right? And it's the same thing with me when I beat him. He was way stronger than me. I just out arm wrestled him. So I've said it a million times, and I'll say it again. You've got a strong arm wrestler. You've got a good arm wrestler. At some point, you got to learn to put them together so that you become a great arm wrestler. But don't stick to just this one side. It only gets you so far. Rule 2, don't fight a losing battle. Efficiency is key. Mata Brothers arm wrestling key notes, write them down. Let's go, baby.
I think if Jesus Mata were to slip, I think he would have had a good chance against
I do
Carlson.
too. I do too.
He did talk to me about that after, and he said he hasn't really practiced slipping much.
That was such a good match. That was one of my favorite matches. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and watch some of these matches. Let's start with Edo versus John.
Yeah, it was like, speaking of the notes, I was smirking a little bit during some of Ed's explanation, because even though obviously John's far superior to me, Carlson, both of you in fact, but some of the things you were saying that he was doing that you shouldn't do, I'm like, yeah, I do those things. I should be doing those things. I'm guilty of that shit.
We
you
all
have
are.
You got to just look at it like it's not a strength. You're not performing like a strength lift or something, or you're fighting the other person. Like if you're in a street fight, you want to win in the fastest way, easiest way possible.
And there's something to that. What I was just going to say is, like, in a strength sport, when you're going up and you're deadlifting, you can black out. Doesn't matter. You just got to get up there, put yourself in a good position, and then from there forward, it doesn't really matter what happens brain-wise. But in the one thing that I made the biggest change in my competition was learning not to black out as I'm getting up to the table. The moment you get up to the table, you have so much adrenaline flowing through your body that you just that you almost like brain fart what you're supposed to do. The moment you slow that minute and a half down, start breathing calmly and know what you're doing, that literally makes all the world of difference, in my opinion.
Every time I go to the table, I've always got like a checklist of like 10 things or like whatever I tell myself to do. And every single time after a match or tournament, I'm always like, damn it, I forgot to do that one thing, or this thing. There's always something. And like I always feel like that might be like what, like, not just mastery, but like that pro level is when like you truly have all those things down to where they're just natural and ingrained, and you don't got to think about it, and you're never going to forget them.
Yeah, I think of maybe one or two things that I really want to do. Or like if I'm all in, let's say I'm all in low hand and I don't hit it, I'm going to immediately bail. I'm going to immediately slip.
Right.
No, but what I mean, like 10 things, I just mean like everything from like foot position to where like shoulder. Just tell myself like, okay, I needed to do this. Oh, I was supposed to do this time. Damn it, I didn't do that. No, I was supposed to do that. Crap, I forgot that.
Ed, you know what's funny that you say that? I always tell my guys or anybody that I'm working with in this specific instance and what we're talking about. I always tell people we're going this way, and if we don't, we're going to the straps. Because if my arm doesn't start to go with me, my immediate thought is, okay, how do I get out of here? Right?
Yeah, getting into straps is a get out of jail free card.
Yes,
it's a redo.
It is. It's a hopefully the next time we do this, I start better.
Yeah, because you got to think you're going to lose.
Yeah. You can tell a lot from the very first grip up, and that's why, like, when we're watching East versus West, and I missed the first ready goes, I'm distraught because I'm like, no, I just missed everything that I needed to know about basically the entire match, right? So let's go over John versus Edo real quick. Let me share this. All right. Can you see me?
Yeah.
All right.
What? So I'll talk kind of like what I'm doing. So every time I have a super match, and this is going to be true in Utah, I go up there. I start talking. I'm smiling. As I'm gripping up, if he's got a really good grip. So I'm already panicking. I'm trying to get a better grip. I'm loading up pronation here. He's loading up cupping. and then I get my grip, and then I shut up.
Yeah.
So right
defense-
now I have both feet under the table. I'm pure back and pronation. As soon as I get my position, I shut up.
This
and then I go.
This right here, what you're talking about, is this like what you would call like a defense mechanism, like your way of saying, like not letting the guy know, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Like nonchalant.
Well, this is exactly what I was doing with Steve. Like, you just kind of keep talking. As I'm talking, I'm regripping. I'm pronating. I'm doing something here to make it advantageous for me.
Got it.
So right now, I stopped talking right here. I'm good.
So at this point, you say I'm good. So that's exactly what I was about to ask you. What changed from the very first part to now that made you feel good?
I'm loading up pronation here, and he's not loading it with me.
So his wrist is starting to have to straighten.
I'm seeing that his wrist is buckling, and he's letting me go that way.
Got it.
And so what that tells me is that's a way for me to go.
Yeah, and you can also see it starting to go.
Yeah, you see his wrist kind of buckling just a little bit
right there. Yeah, right there. Even again, right there. Oh,
and boom! It's just easy straight. So I'm holding him. I'm not pinning him on purpose because he's going to shoot forward.
Right. Okay, so now we got round 2.
So in this one, I'm doing something just a little bit differently. I'm doing kind of like my ace move. The first one, I'm loading back, and I go back and pronate. The second time, this one, I'm doing like a diversion pressure. I'm loading this, and then I'm releasing it, and then going kind of to the left.
Yeah, you look a lot more side here.
Yeah. So I kind of load here and kind of like let go here, so I get the hand position.
No, it's not a big swing, but you do see you go outside a little bit.
You got to swing a little bit.
No, but some guys go like way out there.
Yeah, what's his name? Caleb.
That was about to be my example. I was about to say that same name.
That works, but for people who have really strong hands, or there's a counter to this move. It's going just pure side pressure, and then you're here, and then they'll just get you there because you're basically helping them.
Yeah.
Did John freeze?
Somebody froze. It's weird that we're here and he's not. You would think it'd be the other way around.
Yeah.
It's like I don't even know if we're still.
Maybe he's just really still.
I was gonna say, man, you ever seen Unfriended? It's a good
movie. Let's go to. I'm gonna go to his YouTube. Yeah, it's still the same. That's hilarious. So, if you were to have a match with Steven or Stefan again, what would you do differently?
Immediately, not a whole lot in the sense of like, I feel like I need to make some gains before that happens. But it's definitely in the hand. He was telling me that I was coming close to getting his arm actually lifted off the pad with my back pressure, but the hand, I just couldn't get around the fingers. But also don't practice slipping. That'd be my number one thing. Just practice slipping, getting to the strap. But even in the after pull, in the straps, he still had me, but I was able to like almost get that stop before the pad.
I mean, his hand definitely is strong.
Yeah. And that's my current weakness, which is just really frustrating because it's just that's the thing I also work on the most. It's just like I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah, I can share my screen for the YouTube, but unless he puts me in there, I can't do it.
I was gonna say, have you like essentially hijacked the stream? I really don't understand how.
I was gonna say I could just. For all 3 people watching, we're having technical difficulties.
Yeah. So seriously, this is so weird. It's just me and you on John's tube now. Oh, John's whole internet went down.
Oh, okay.
That's unfortunate.
Huh. Okay then. Well, I can't. I don't think I can. Let's see if I can do this. No, I can't.
You're doing the 64 man, right?
Yeah. So the 64 man, I'm doing it. DZ's doing it. The guy who had a match with Nathan Brown.
Oh yes.
Mhm.
Johnny Zani. I don't want to mess it up, but yeah.
Johnny Nosage, I think. And then also Greg Brown is doing it too. He recently rejoined because his work is taking him into that direction anyway.
Yes, that's
So
what
it kind of works
also
out.
messed him up with Battle of the Brave, I think.
Yeah, well, I think that's why he couldn't do it because
his work.
His work, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I'd rather do the 64 man tournament anyway.
That's not exactly at the same time though, aren't they? They're like a week or two apart, but it's like close.
It's on the same day.
Oh, never mind. I'm totally messed up.
Yeah, it's let's see. It's on the 2nd.
And that's Colorado, right?
Correct. All right, rest in peace, freaking John's internet.
Kick the router.
Oh well. So what would you do differently with Steven? Would you train differently?
Yes. Well, I would just try to get to the straps and just try to work on my riser, which I have been, but it's just something I've only recently started trying to develop. What are your plans for Utah? I don't know if you how much you guys gone over that already.
For Utah, as far as what?
Just like strategy, how to go last year. Is there any guys in that area that you're like looking?
Oh, as far as the arm wrestling.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about like going out to eat.
No, the scenery. Yeah, it's just like the weather.
I was like, I don't know, macaroni grill sounds good.
From what I've seen, it should be possibly rainy with like a high of 43.
Okay,
looks awful.
Yeah, bundle up. What I'm gonna do, I think as far as my weight class, I kind of just went through most of everybody last year. I didn't get to face Jordan Sill, but
I was gonna say he's in your class, isn't he?
Yeah, he probably. He would smash me though. I can get a stop on Eric, but he's gonna smash me anyway.
So you're not gonna be 198s for this one?
No, dude, okay. I'm like 220 something.
Hey,
he's back.
That's crazy.
The awkwardness is over.
That's crazy that it allowed the same stream to go through the whole time. You guys never got kicked off?
I tried to hijack your stream, but it wouldn't let me.
Dang, that's gnarly because I like ended it on my end. My internet cut out. So for everybody, I apologize. My internet went out. That's what happened. And then with all that, like I had to end my stream on my end and all this funky stuff happened. And then when I went to go start a new one, I see you guys like still talking. I was like, no way that's still going.
That's cool how it does that.
Yeah. So shout out to Restream for all this. I just literally lost internet. And so now we're back up. But so was there anything that I interrupted between you two? Was there something you guys were talking about?
I don't think so.
He was just asking me about the Stefan match, and I was just asking him about Utah, and then Angela Miller was letting me know I'm a pussy for thinking 43 and rainy is cold.
It's probably exactly why my internet went out, is because we're dealing with the overpour of everything that happened in SoCal, in California.
That's why I got my robe on, man. It's like it's cold here. It's like 60 degrees.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the match. I'm sorry. Let's get back to this match. We were watching the John versus Edo match.
Yeah, I think we're going into round 3.
So like I said, this
is the same round, but I believe there was an elbow foul in the first pin.
Yeah, I think he went a little bit forward in the elbow foul.
Yeah, and so once again, a lot of side. It looks like a lot more side.
He doesn't look comfortable, but he's not adjusting.
I don't think he knows how.
Yeah, he doesn't know how. He doesn't know what to do, I think.
Just harder. Because that
you see him, he's just holding on the whole time.
There was never a point of struggle in this round here.
So right now he should have just slipped.
Yes.
Or at least try to do something, maybe go underhand, maybe get an elbow foul.
Yeah. Well, 2 elbow fouls, that would have been a loss, but definitely should have slipped. And
And
then
just to
this
bring the
one,
perspective of someone maybe that's a bit newer, I can say that in situations where at least the mentality I come from, and I'm not saying it's the right one to have, but there's times where like if my strongest move ain't working, I won't necessarily always switch it up because it's like, well, that's my strongest move. It's like my mind's like, well, I shouldn't do anything I'm crap at.
If I can't win at that move, then how am I going to have a chance with my weak move?
Exactly. So like maybe that's what he was thinking, just throwing that out there, not to talk for him.
I don't agree though. Now I will say
I'm not saying I'm correct. I'm not saying I'm correct.
Well, I think
just
you're
letting
right.
you know the mentality.
Right, and I think we've all had that. I've had that same thing, but I will say that is not true only because styles make matches. So if your ace is your top roll and you're trying to top roll some guy with a super strong hand, okay, so this is a great example. Marcus Evers versus Juggernaut.
Yeah.
He wants me to help him leading up to this match, and he goes, "Hey, I need you to help me." I go, "Okay." I watched back Arizona State, how he beat him, and he goes, "But I want to top roll him." And I go, "No." I go, "We're not going to do that." He goes, "What do you mean?" The Mata brothers told me my top roll was super, super strong. I go, "It is. But we're not talking about against somebody whose hand is 3 times the size length of anybody else. You're not getting out of his hand." I go, "There's no shot that you're going to try to roll open someone like a Reagan. It's not going to happen. You have to make it arm on arm." And he goes, "Well, I'm not good at that." I go, "It doesn't matter if you're good at it. It's the only way you're going to win." And sure enough, arm on arm is how Marcus got the job done. Slowed him down. Ended up bringing it back to center table, and then it made it look like the hand was really easy to take. But once again, sometimes your ace is not always going to be the best move for you. Sometimes you have to think more about how your opponent arm wrestles than how you arm wrestle, right?
Mm-hmm. As far as I'm aware, he never even used his ace in that match in the sense of he's a presser. He was catching him on the outside and hold him. Reagan was winning center every time. Yeah. He wasn't really back in his frame like he usually does.
Yeah.
All I can say is that was a very hard match to down ref.
That was a great match to watch.
Especially when there's money on the line.
Especially when Reagan's looking at you like, "Why'd you call that foul?" And you're like,
"What do you think the down ref does?"
Yeah, right.
So it's definitely making me look even worse now. Apparently, he was only 50% that day.
I was going to say, Ben, I'm sorry to bring this one up. But
yeah, he also had the wrong socks on.
Yeah, exactly.
50%. Dude, like, I find that hard to believe.
No, I'm not. I mean, obviously, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but I'm not saying he was 100%.
So I will say, Ben, you've got a nice height here.
Yeah, again, I was trying to go up and over the hand. And funny enough, this is the match that was the slowest. I mean, again, it still counted in microseconds, but this was the one where I slowed him down the most on the way to the pad.
Yeah, and he's all side. He is grabbing you and going straight sideways.
So there's no way you could have done this.
Believe me, I was trying my ass off. That's what I was doing entirely.
I can't.
His hand just wasn't.
Wow. I mean, I gripped up with Steven after. I mean, he is extremely strong. His hand is crazy, but he can use the hand. He's not like all hand.
Yeah, that makes me feel better. I did not even notice he did that until I watched that video back the next day. I'm like, oh, motherfucker.
So, I mean, realistically, I like what I see here, Ben, from you as far as where you go. It's just if you could get a little bit more wrist cup, not through the cup, I mean, not through the fingers and top, like containment. I just mean like if you can kind of curl your wrist at all, hopefully that'll help you slip a little bit more going forward. But that's a tough. Looks like you're trying to slip through the top.
That's what I'm saying, and like maybe it would have gone different if I had tried something a little bit else. But from there was 100% like slip attempt that he just shut down.
Yeah,
I wasn't really trying to cup. I was just pure posting up over the knuckles, attempting to.
Do you think you could have maybe went forward and kind of slipped under?
Well, that would have been this round here because he's shooting into a hook here.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do because that's like my go-to move. When the slip didn't work, I'm like, well, fuck it. If I can't slip, I'm not
He was
just
quick.
He was.
That's one of the few times where I'm like, okay, I will try and switch something else, and then that didn't work either. So I'm like, okay, well, back to the slip.
Was he gripping hard in the fingers?
Not particularly. I mean, actually, I would have to say a decent amount because I was loading pretty damn. I was like 99%, 90 to 95% loaded.
And he was matching. He was matching.
Yeah. So
very interesting, very strong, Stefan. You guys thought I was going to lose, so I don't know. I'm the new guy. No, I definitely thought I didn't. I don't know if did I say you were going to lose. I don't know. Maybe I did.
Well, I know Ed had me on the predictions, and I think Steve did as well. But at the same time, I mean, nobody knew the guy. I mean, if he'd come to a practice before we had pulled, maybe opinions.
I think that I said you would have had the advantage in the straps, which can't be wrong because it never happened. So
yeah. But I got some after pull video that might dispute.
Shout out to Stefan Milne, the lumberjack, very strong and fast, very strong.
No, I will say that's one thing I was not expecting is he was very quick.
So we went over the Dobson Riverview map. We went over Utah. We went over Jose Cervantes. We went over your guys' matches. Let's go over Vegas real quick. And then I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on some of those potentials that I said earlier. So let's get rid of that guy.
What's your guys' prediction for Steve West versus what's his name?
Clayton?
Clayton, yeah.
So I'll say this publicly. This was fun. So me and Steve have been trying to get this match with Clayton happening for a while now. And he comes to me and he goes, all right, so we talked to Dustin. We're going to have a super match before the tournament. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, we're going to pull right best of 5 before the tournament starts, and then we'll both burn the tournament. And I was like, Steve,
why?
I'm like, Steve, one, you've been holding this tournament in high regard, number one. So don't think that's an easy task to do. And then number two, I love Steve West to death, but his confidence sometimes eludes him because he's like, "Oh, I'm going to smash Clayton." He goes, "No big deal. I'll just have the super match, and then I'll have this, and then I'll have this." I go, "Bro." I go, no. Number one, that's not how it works. Number two, I don't even know whether or not I have you or Clayton winning because Clayton has gotten a lot stronger over the last 3-4 months for a few different specific reasons. But he has gotten a lot stronger. He is a lot stronger. I can't do anything with him now. The last 2 times I've gripped up with Clayton, I have absolutely nothing for him. I do have something sometimes for Steve. Okay. Now, maybe that could be styles. Maybe that could be lengths and paths, like the paths that we're trying to take. But I told him, I go, that is not going to be an easy match. I would not do that. I would not do that right before the tournament. I was like, don't do that. Let's set that for a later date. So, yes, Steve did put in the chat earlier that they are confirmed for March 30th. And
good. That's the better move.
Best of 5. I think as good of a friend as Steve is to me, I think I have Clayton on the advantageous side of best of 5. And the reason being is because when I watch both of them arm wrestle, especially during matches, when you watch who's actively making adjustments, it's always Clayton. If Clayton loses in one way, he will adjust and he will shoot his second way, and it may end up working for him. I've watched him do this. I tend to overthink sometimes, and I didn't say smash. I said I'm not going to lose. And when you said I lose that match, LOL, nothing but respect for Clayton. Yeah, and Steve is and I do give Steve the strength advantage in that match. I give him the hand advantage in that match. But when it comes to a technicality side, I have Clayton winning that. And you guys know how I feel. I think technicality wins you the match 9 times out of 10. So it's hard for me for just because Steve's my friend, to say that he's gonna win off of brute strength alone. So I do have Clayton best of 5. I think that it's 3-2. I think that Steve wins round 1 and 2, and I think Clayton gets a stop in round 3, and it starts to swing around. And yeah, I do think that round 1 Steve makes it look really easy though.
So. Steve's hand, when especially like during my match, It's really hard to counter that hand. Like you have to be able to slip out of that strong grip. You have to have some additional sort of moves. You have to know how to set up and stuff.
Yeah.
My prediction is 3-1 for Steve, just based on what I kind of felt from Steve. But I
I'm
mean,
interested.
Clayton is
When's,
definitely more versatile.
when's the last
But
time
I
you
don't.
grouped up with Clayton?
I was gonna say Clayton's
Maybe in a month,
strong
month and a
man.
half, something like that.
So it's been over a month.
Yeah, unless he freaking took some extra vitamins. I don't know.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, even in that case, a month's short, but still.
Yeah. I can say that I've never in the past had a problem with Clayton, and over the last 2 months, I got nothing for him. Both hands, left and right. It's a completely different story.
I know, like when Steve is in practice, he tends to try harder with certain people.
Are we
I
saying
don't know,
sandbaggers?
maybe he's sandbagging you, man. I know. When me and him grip up, he thinks I'm sandbagging, but I can't do nothing.
Yeah.
Some of the time, I can't do anything.
That's not the way it looked when you went to go lay down on the table. Just saying.
Ben, what do you got?
Really interesting to hear both you guys' points. One thing I think that nobody's pointed out so far in this particular match is the small genetic differences. Clayton is very long-armed, and he's got a very large hand for his size and weight class. And I think that height and the size of the hand might give Steve some trouble. I definitely think it's going to be a hell of a match, one way or the other. I'm looking forward to this one. Was disappointed when it got scratched from the other card. I'm going to have to go with my boy Steve because he's my teammate, but it's going to be a hell of a match. He's going to have to work his ass off for it. I definitely see it going to straps just because they're both top rollers.
Yeah.
But yeah, Steve's got his work cut out for him. But I say 3-2 Steve.
Yeah. Now, I've always said if you lose your wrist, it's going to be hard to get it back. And I really do think that if Clayton, how do I say this? If Clayton gives his wrist, it's different. But if he gets his wrist taken by round 2, then I don't think he can win from there. But I'm so interested to know whether or not Clayton can get behind his shoulder and press on Steve if he does get his hand taken.
Clayton does have a really nice press.
Oh, he's very versatile.
He does, and he's also not afraid to kind of risk it to kind of get to get the biscuit, to get behind it, right? And Steve, I think, is so good at taking the hand that he'll be like, "Oh my God, I did it! I took the hand," but the fight's not over then at that point. You know what I mean? It's almost 50% started, so definitely could be fun stylistically. Like I said, I go back and forth every day on who I think wins that match. But please, let's see some predictions in the chat. Who you guys got? I'd love to see that. And then let's go over this Vegas flyer here. North American Championships Open. Is this an open-only tournament?
I wonder if they mean like open to
open and amateur at the bottom there. Okay, Binions is the tournament, is the hotel. 3/16, March 16th. That's 2 weeks after the Battle of the Brave, East versus West.
So it's going to be in Old Vegas.
Yeah, this is on Fremont. We got 155 to 171, 172 to 190, or 173 to 189. I'm sorry, 190 to 209. So that's very similar to the Battle of the Brave weight classes. 209 right there, which I do believe this is PAL, which you have no weight allowance. Did they have a weight allowance for you guys last year, Ed?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, okay. How much was it? Do you remember?
2 pounds or so.
Okay,
2
so
3
cool.
pounds.
That makes me happy.
Depending how popular you are.
Yeah, true. Then you got a lot of weight classes here. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Say, this might be the most fat person friendly tournament I've ever seen. I've never seen a 261 super heavyweight.
260, 261. Interesting.
Yeah, last year I think it was 230, 260, and 261 plus. There was not that many people in 260. There was like maybe 4 people.
Really?
I wasn't planning on going to this one, but shit.
Well, this is the one that this is the
Attractive
reason.
weight class.
Well, this is the reason why I wanted to bring this up. Okay, so last year, which a lot of the reason why so many people are going out to a lot of okay, what do we got here? I haven't trained arm wrestling in many months, and I just PR'd back pressure 160 pounds right now. Weird. Let's pull John Edo. You smell. Yeah. If your back pressure is 160 pounds, I got nothing for you because I can like do 110 maybe.
Really?
Yeah, but once again, his hand is little.
No, I only say I'm surprised at that because my back pressure is like 105, and I figured you'd be way above mine, especially being top roller you are.
No, my back pressure is not all that. It's because I have some back and shoulder problems and probably with my neck. But
see, that's where I know I've got some kind of problem in general. Like my lifts are way too comparable to guys way too far above me. Like I don't know if I've got wrist issues, but my hand's just not there.
I think you're thinking too much into it because there's I'm a very well-rounded arm wrestler when it comes to lifts. I'm not really strong on one lift. I'm pretty good at basically all lifts. Like I really surprised myself over the last week with the McWoody handle and arm wrestling guys that I arm wrestle with very often that are way stronger than me on the table. And I lift almost 30 pounds heavier than them in the McWoody handle.
What is the McWoody handle?
I'll grab it. I'll show you.
Say, I am not familiar with that one. Sounds like a porn star name.
Shout out to the man himself, RVJ. Home Depot, $3. I give you the
okay. Just okay. You could have just said the 2x4. I just never heard it called that. I use a long one with a center bolt for flat grip like pull downs.
Yes. But like once again, that's one of my better lifts and same thing. So like guys that are way stronger than me, it doesn't matter because they don't even get to use that access lane. They don't even concentrate or think about that lane, right? So there's a lot of things that make certain pullers really good at certain lifts. Like I was really, really surprised to see just how easy it was for Ed to move certain weights on Eric's pulley system.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I could barely I thought my back pressure was very similar to Ed's. And then to see his, I was like, oh my God, like it's not even like in the same realm, right? But on the table, it doesn't really look like it's that big of a gap in back pressure, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because hands come into a scenario, hand size come into scenario,
a technique,
length
where you're
of
going.
arm, right? So I'll smash Ed, by the way. Check this
in conclusion, I'm gonna smash your boy.
Yeah, I feel like Steve would win strength-wise, but we want Clayton to take it home. Shout out to the Mata brothers. Does Steve have a press? Definitely not, or at least I hope not. I use the double strap with one on wrist and one on hand, so maybe it makes it easier, but my old PR was 150. No, I know exactly the lift you're talking about, Jesse. That's really good. 150 is really good, especially for someone sitting on the couch right now. So but no, the reason why I was bringing this up earlier was last year. I'm sure a lot of the reason why Big Ben is going to Utah and why there's some hype around this is because last year, Ed, how many was it? 12 of us?
Yeah, I missed
a lot of us.
I want to say there was 12 of us that went out to Utah last year. And from the words of Eric Wolf, that was the biggest Arizona team that had ever traveled out of state for an arm wrestling gathering or tournament as long as he had been involved in Arizona arm wrestling, which meant a lot. I was very happy and glad to be a part of that. It was a great trip. It was a lot of fun. Well, once again, we do it again this year and we take it a step further with Vegas. As of right now, from what I know, there are 15 of us going to Vegas on March 16th. So it is going to be the biggest turnout for Arizona. It is a bigger tournament than Utah. Because it's thrown by Boom in PAL and it's what they call a North American Championships. I mean, it's probably Vegas State Championships because I don't think Vegas has one or Nevada has one. that I know about.
I think his strategy was to call it that to get more people coming from different states or something like that to make it sound more legit. It's just kind of like a
countries and
marketing.
all that. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think the two biggest names they had last year, to my knowledge, which were pretty big though, I think they had Larry Wheels and they had Vresh, I believe.
In Vegas?
Yes, I believe.
No, they didn't have
No.
either of those guys.
I
No,
swear.
you're thinking California, but that was a California tournament. I know exactly the tournament you're talking
Ed,
about.
you
It was
pulled
LA
Vresh,
FedEx.
didn't you?
Yeah,
I
that
pulled
was LA
Vresh
FedEx.
in the LA Fit Expo.
Oh, okay. That I'm mixing those up too. Never mind. That's my fault.
This is an artillery bag that I'm very. I at least have a press defense in my artillery bag. I'm very comfortable with. Let's go artillery, baby. Yeah. So last year at Vegas, the biggest names were Brandon Allen
There's Tim
and
Lewis. Tim Lewis was there.
Tim Lewis. I can imagine if we put
Bob
enough
Brown was there.
Bob Brown. If we put enough hype behind it and enough of us big names share it, I'm pretty sure we can get the Vegas guys to all show out. You've got Mason McCandless, Jason Latona, Brandon Allen, Oleg. They've got a pretty good crew down there. You can get guys from surrounding states to come out. You can even get guys from Utah to come out because February 17th is a literal month from the date from March, the Vegas tournament. So the guys that didn't have to travel in Utah, they can go travel out to Vegas because that's not far. You got guys from Kingman now, like Michael Layton and his crew that all could go down there in Vegas. So Vegas could potentially be a good turnout. I'll fly through who I know is going. Me, Dustin, Steve, Rad Rob, Edo, Eric Wolf, Aaron Blevins, potentially. The Mata brothers, 1, 2, potentially Marcus, if he wants to go with them. Let's see. Clayton said he's going to go. God, yeah, there's like a long list that I posted inside of So Strong, but there's a good group of guys that are going. So really excited for that because I had such a good time just traveling with everybody and traveling as a team. And we're all on different teams like Wild West and stuff, but we're kind of like all there for the same goal. So that was a lot of fun. And now we're going to do it in the Sin City. Are you kidding me? That's going to be a terror. That's going to be chaos. So I can only imagine that'll be a really good time. So if you can, and you're planning on going to an out-of-state tournament, I would plan on making March 16th if you can go with us, because that's going to be crazy. Whisper was there. Oh, wait, did Jesse go out to Vegas with you guys? I think he did, didn't he?
Let's see Ayers really quick. He might have
For sure,
gone.
Leander said he did Vegas last year, I think.
I'm pretty sure Jesse did do Vegas last year because I was kind of surprised. I was like, he doesn't.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Yeah. Whisper was there, he said.
Yeah, Whisper had some weird shoes on, I think. Yeah, I
Or
remember
was he
that.
talking about Utah? Because Whisper was in Utah too.
He was in Utah and in Vegas.
Yeah. Yes, I was there. Yeah. So
you guys all driving out there and back same day? Just wondering.
I'm flying.
Oh,
no,
okay.
Always fly.
Me, Steve, and Rad Rob, as of right now, are driving out Friday, getting there Friday, staying Friday night and Saturday night, and then driving back Sunday.
Because that's a rough same day drive.
Well, not only that, but that's one where I can understand making it a vacation and a trip.
Yeah.
No offense, love you, Utah, but there is nothing happening in Utah. Well, Salt Lake City was really pretty. I will say, when we flew into Salt Lake City Airport, I was pretty jazzed. But
so you got Bonneville, but that's
it
like
was
2 weeks of the year.
It was freezing. It was snowing, and yeah. So, but Vegas, that'll be a good time. So, Big Ben, if you can make it, that'd be a good time for you to come out there with us, man.
I will check flight prices because it'll probably be cheaper than a Vegas hotel.
Yes.
That's my problem. Utah was cheap. Same day out, flight back. It was easy. So
Right.
It's the extra adding costs that go into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even like regular fishing, let alone ice fishing.
I don't know who that's for. Well, I want to say that's about all I got. I covered basically everything I wanted to tonight. I got over the rankings, got over the changes in that. We watched some of the videos from the prior weekend, talked with you guys about them. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to hear about your guys' thoughts on the potentials here, and then obviously I wanted to get some predictions in the chat about this as well. Go ice fishing with us. Oh shit! You see what I mean, Angela? Arizona guys, we're not built like this. We're not. This is not for us.
We don't do that stuff.
What's ice?
Fish in ice. That sounds like a.
Yeah, we don't have either one of those things. We don't have fish or ice.
Sounds like torture. Yeah. I'm gonna speed fly them off, and I just want your guys' you just say the winner. You don't have to say nothing about it. I just want to hear your winner. Okay. Ron Flanick versus Luis Barrera.
Lewis.
Okay. Cristobal versus Justin Maynard.
Cristobal by a mile.
By a mile, he says.
By a mile. Cristobal is really good.
I agree.
Although I do know where he's weak though.
Do you know? Did you watch Arizona State?
I had a super match with him.
Arizona State, Cristobal lost his wrist against Justin.
Okay.
I literally, prior to seeing this, I would have said the exact same thing as you. But after I saw that, I was like, what? So I do think you're right. I think Cristobal wins, but I do think it's.
Cristobal has an easier way you can win against him. He hits fast, but he doesn't have a lot of finishing power. If you can kind of slow him down here, I think you're.
Plus, if the power's even close, Cristobal's experience factor is going to be off the chart. It's not even comparable.
Yeah, that's true.
Justin's hand is mega, even better than.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean, like as far as experience go, I mean he's baby face.
Angela called us wimps, you guys. Let's see. Josiah versus Dustin, since it hasn't happened yet.
Dustin.
Ooh, I love that. Me and Luke.
Let's say I don't know if you pulled Dustin.
Luke.
Luke.
And have you ever even pulled Luke? Fuck
No.
you.
I sponsored him though. I sponsored Luke at the event, so I got to back my boy.
It's better to be the underdog.
Tim Costello versus Stefan.
I got Tim.
Okay. Cambrell. Well, neither of you know Chris, so that doesn't work.
So I'm going to go first next time, because I feel like I'm just copying Ed here. I'm just getting all the same answers.
You go first. You reply first.
Clayton versus Steve. You guys gave me that one already.
And I think we were different. Did you have Steve or Clayton?
I had Steve.
Okay, so we're still saying that.
I had Clayton. Sid versus Dustin.
Dustin.
Sid.
Ooh.
Okay.
Just because he's my boy, and plus I've been waiting. Everyone's been waiting on. That's long overdue. That needs to happen.
Long overdue. Justin versus Scott.
Oh, Scott.
Justin who?
Maynard.
Scott.
That's one of those things where, like, it's Cristobal. Like, if they're even close,
it depends what the timeline is. The longer the timeline is, the more Justin can win.
This is how I know you guys don't know what you're talking about. Donald versus Brugger.
Donald.
Mm-hmm. Which Donald?
Oh, I just know he's gonna take it super seriously, and he's gonna do what he needs to do. Brugger's the type of guy he would wake up the day of. Wake up an hour before the match.
I was like, he's gonna be late.
He's not that guy. Like, he's not gonna take it super seriously.
I'm gonna say I love Matas, man, but that's a big
dude. Donald's mega right now.
Donald is mega right now. He is mega.
And I know Brugger ain't been pulling as much consistently because of his back pain. So so there may be some wiggle room in there, but my money would have to be on Brugger.
Edo, are you familiar with Spencer, Justin's friend?
Oh yeah, I've gripped up with him. He's really strong.
Okay, what do you think about him and Bustamante?
Man, Bustamante lost a lot of weight. If I would say Bustamante for now, if he gets what's his name? Spencer. If he gets better in the straps,
yes,
he'll win.
I could not agree more as of right now with the statement you just said.
Bustamante basically does the same thing every time. He does a top roll where he kind of flares out his fingers, and if you just slip, it's pretty easy.
Yeah. I'm not sure you're familiar with him, Big Ben, with Spencer.
The only one I know that really comes around consistently with Justin is the kind of young looking kid with the bleach blonde hair.
Oh yeah,
What is that guy's name?
I forget that dude's name. It's oh man, you know my girlfriend says who he reminds her of is oh, have you guys seen the Robert Pattinson Batman? You know the guy who's supposed to play the new Joker?
No.
No, I seen the after credit scene or the bonus scene, but I didn't know who the actor was.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other movies he's in, but he looks kind of like him. But
all I know is at the last practice somebody called him in sync, and I laughed for like 30 seconds.
So Spencer's tall. He's like 6'2", 6'3". He's about 220. He's got glasses on, black hair, really long arms, and low hand top rolls. He's in the last clip of my Return of the Ron video on YouTube, and
okay, I'll check him out.
He's
strong. Head, I don't think I know.
He gives me fits on the right hand. I mean, I can beat him in the straps pretty confident.
Versus who?
Matthew
you said Bustamante.
Yeah.
That's tough for me to go because that's a guy I don't know versus a guy I have not touched in almost a year. Bustamante has not been around even in the past couple of Tucson practices. Like he's been busy, so he's another guy I'd like to.
Bustamante before, Ben? Like just practice?
Oh yeah, he was a guy that back when he was a heavyweight, he was on my list of guys I was chasing for a long time. But I just haven't pulled him. I think the last time Steve had a practice up on his side when he was cooking brisket like 6 months ago. I think that's the last time I pulled Bustamante.
Yeah. Now, Edo, this will be an interesting one for you to comment on because you know this guy. I was supposed to have a pulley session with him today, and I wasn't able to make it. But Nate Cashin versus Jesus Mata.
I'll probably have Mata winning that one.
Yeah, I think Mata with the experience, but Nate's strong, dude.
Nate, I know exactly how Nate trains. The guy is really busy. He like travels for work and stuff like that. He's got one of those big boy jobs. So when he trains mostly like hand with like irregular handles and things like that. But he's not really like pulling. And if he's pulling, he's not pulling with someone who really knows what to do. But I mean, you got the freaking Mata household. They're, I mean, what kind of? They're all of those guys are set up for success. Everybody arm wrestles.
Yeah. How many households in America are like that?
I don't know.
Like all of you compete in the same sport. You're all supportive. You all kill it. You all train hard. You all train each other.
Yeah, they all push each other and.
Yeah. Incredible. We're so blessed to have the Mata brothers. Shout out to the Mata brothers.
That's a great group of guys.
And the dad, I'm assuming the dad is really supportive. The mother's probably really supportive. They take him. They give him the opportunities.
No, I've said
what more can he ask for?
I've said this 100 times, and I think I even told this to his face. I was like, I wish, not that he wasn't that great to begin with, but I wish I had a dad as supportive as them when I was younger. Because because again, when you consider where they come from, the amount of like gas money, the amount of time, the amount of effort he must put in to make sure that they get the experience, the time, what they want to do, what they need to do is like that's just a really incredible thing, and it's a great family.
For sure. Last one I had was D'Anthony versus Little Juanito.
Man, I haven't seen Little Juanito in a long time.
Me neither. Now, I don't know that that's necessarily a case of him not being around or us not practicing with Westside, but
I think it's a West Side thing. I pulled him a week before my Stefan match left-handed. At the little Kirby has little practices at a bar over on the West Side every once in a while, and pulled him over there. He was clearly like just after work. He was all in his work clothes, and so I think he's just been really busy and pulling with the West Side guys. But he felt strong. I don't know D'Anthony well, but I know he's really strong. I think my money would have to be on him.
Yeah,
probably D'Anthony.
Yeah, D'Anthony's strong, and he's also very technical. Works with a lot of guys on technical stuff. So I would give him the nod. But
I will say that Juanito's switching it up. He's not that in a match he may be different, but I know he's working on other things. He's not quite the presser he was before. Not saying he doesn't have that, but he's branching out.
Good. I think his versatility is completely necessary in this, especially at a certain point. We all start with our ace. We all start with something we feel very comfortable with, but stepping outside your comfort zone in that sense is super important at a certain point. I started to change a lot when I started to go shoulder forward, practicing my low hand, transitioning into a hook. It makes you much more aware of what the other person's doing. Not so much of if you're going to use it, but when you start to see movements from the other person across the table, they start to make a lot more sense to you. So
That guy, John, the blonde guy, Reed. His name's
Reed, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I knew it was an interesting name.
Yeah, it's different.
Thought it started with. I'm way off.
Think I may have sold him a handle.
Oh, there you go.
Like I specifically remember that name coming up in my website. So now that I think about it, especially if he is friends with Justin, that would explain that because I know you got me hooked up with him.
Is he one of his church friends?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. Oh, tight. Okay.
Yeah, he came to the Hope Church event, and I believe that was one of his first.
Yes.
That's cool.
Oh no, it was Arizona State. He came with them from Arizona State, and then was also at the Hope Church. But I remember seeing him at Arizona State competing, and it was his first time. So we went over the potentials that I came up with. Now, before we get off here, we'll end here at the 2-hour mark in 9 minutes. But is there anything that you guys see or want to see that potentially maybe you've been thinking of? Doesn't obviously have to be a match with either of you involved, but anything along those lines. I'm going to bring up the rankings right now just to make it a little bit easier for you.
I'm about to say that would help.
But if there's anything off the top, you let me know.
I'm sure there'd be something, but I know that a few of the things I've been looking forward to are happening, or at least should be, like the Clayton Steve. And you listed it in a potential, the whole Sid Dustin. I know that's nothing's probably official on that, but that would be.
I want to see.
Interesting.
I want to see Rocco have a match with somebody.
Well, I'll tell you, Rocco asked me to take this. Rocco asked me to take him off the rankings. He said, I haven't pulled any of these guys. Please take me off the list.
No, don't take him off. You know what happened? You know what happened with the rankings before when we tried to do it, or like when I put it on my YouTube? I would get messages from Eric, from Wayne, or whatever. I don't remember who it was exactly, but they're like, "Hey man, take me off the rankings. Take me off." I'm like, I'm using my best judgment here, and I'm pretty sure you're right here. They're like, "Oh, you don't know that?" It's like, bro, it's not. The ranking is not for you. It's for the state.
I can tell you right now the reason why he's saying that is because love you, Rocco, love you to death. You're my boy. But the video of me posting him and Dustin probably is giving him the idea that he's probably should be ranked higher than what I have him as. Now that's fine. Whether or not I agree with that or not, that's fine. And it's up to you. I don't need to have your name on the list for me to know how I feel about it and how everyone else feels about it. Just because your name doesn't sit there at number 3 doesn't mean that you're not in the top 5 for the top super heavyweights in Arizona for competing. But Stephen Olmstead on the right, I feel like that's the match to make for Rocco.
I think Rocco needs to see how he is with Sid first.
Yeah, I was going to say, not to be disrespectful at all, Rocco's an absolute beast, but like
Sid is also a beast.
And last time I seen that practice poll, it was close to the pin pad. It definitely was, but it looked like Sid was holding him. That was another Hope Church. That was Hope Church.
Hope Church. Yeah, I had that recorded on my phone, and there's an instance where me and Steve are screaming at Rocco, stop, because he's in a complete break arm position in a press. And I'm like, bro, this is not worth it. And he freaks out. He stops and he goes, "What? Shut up!" And he screams at us to tell him to stop, tell him to watch his arm. But yeah, no, it was very close. Once again, Sid had him in his Kings right where he wants him, and that's where you're going to have to burn him is on that spot. But yeah, either way, whether it's them two, I mean,
I would almost want to see before Sid and Dustin. I want to see Sid versus Rocco first.
Yeah, I would be curious because it's always still practice.
Because if Sid can't beat Rocco,
100%. That's a good point too. Goes both ways.
Yeah. Now, do you think either of them beat Stephen Olmstead?
No,
I don't think so.
I don't either. I know for a fact that Stephen Olmstead beats Sid because every time they grip up at a practice, Stephen Olmstead
smash.
Yeah, and Sid's always got some little funny things to say, like, "Oh, I hate Steve."
Yeah. Now, styles make matches. Once again, you involve the King's move. You involve the fact that Stephen is a dominant left-handed puller, not right-handed puller. And then you involve that Rocco of all the top 5 guys currently, Dustin, Stephen, Rocco, Sid, and Julius. Rocco has the most ready goes in the last year.
True.
So he's going to have the most.
Absolutely.
He's going to have the most match experience going into a match. And I also am a firm believer that of the top 5 guys, Rocco is training the hardest.
Who wins between Rocco and Sid?
I think, fuck, dude, I don't know. I think Rocco, but Sid is so interesting because of the way he arm wrestles. So, like, I really do feel like there's going to come a lot of fouls are going to come into this scenario because you're going to have to be calling King's moves like under the table, neutral style, elbow fouls. It's going to be someone's going to have to go into a press at some point. So that one is like super, super sticky. Now, I personally think Dustin can beat Sid before Sid has access to his King's move.
Yeah.
Like, I think
Like
Dustin can make one swift move sideways, boom, pin. There's never a point where Dustin's hand starts to get compromised or loses his positioning. With Rocco, I don't think that's the case. I think Rocco starts to open in certain positions.
Yeah, he does.
And that's what is going to start making things interesting over a course of 5 rounds.
Yep. My money would be on Sid specifically because of the style situation and his King's move and the fact that that's where he likes to be. Yeah. If Rocco doesn't plow through him and get the pin, I just think that Rocco will burn himself out there while Sid's just chilling.
Yeah, and I will say, I think now I say that Rocco has the ready go experience, but I'll say that Sid probably has the elbow and pulling experience because Sid pulls quite often practices with some really strong dudes. Every time Sid's out of practice, he's actively looking for the strongest person to try to beat him, right?
True.
No,
whereas in Rocco kind of shows up, every so often, and when he does, he's kind of just moseying. He gets some pulls with the stronger dudes, but it's not like I would say the initial effort that Sid is putting in.
It almost like Rocco is more like strategic in who he pulls. He's one of those guys, and maybe he doesn't want to be in the rankings because if he wants to have matches outside of Arizona, he doesn't want to know. He doesn't want the other guys to know where he's at. That would make a lot of sense for me.
That's also very true. And I personally think that might have more to do with it because I think Rocco's more interested in pulling out-of-state arm wrestlers than he is Arizona arm wrestlers, especially when he knows, like we've always said, if you know where you lie in your own region, then...
Yeah. But if we start with Rocco, if we remove him from the rankings, and then Eric's like, hey, why don't you remove me from the rankings? Dustin's like, well, do me. And suddenly the whole list is, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. But once again, this is for the guys that are supposed to be carrying and competing in that instance. Now, this is the way it would technically work. If I took Rocco off the list, he would go to the very bottom the next time he went on, which we all know that's not plausible. It makes no sense.
But
yeah. And so I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll talk to him about it and see if he really cares that much. But it doesn't, once again, just being on the list doesn't mean you have to take a match. You don't have to take a match unless you're called out.
No, not to mention the fact that particular situation, those top 4, you can even throw Julius in there, but specifically Sid through Dustin, they're so far beyond anyone else that the only guys they even need to worry about is the guy to their left and right. Like they're in their own little world, kind of.
No, very true. Now that's the case for most of these weight classes. When you look at the number 1 and the number 2, Wayne and Miguel, then you got Scott.
Yeah.
Tim and Eric, and then you got me. Let's see. Ron, then you got Edo. Aaron, then you got Bruger. Aaron, then you got Alex or Johnny. You know what I mean?
Weight class can't be accurate with 3 people.
Well, it's because there's not a lot of people that are competing in this weight class. A lot of them are deciding to either go up or down, and this is also the newest addition to the weight class in airs.
I was going to say, not every tournament runs every one of those classes is the problem, so you just got to get in where you fit in, literally.
But so we went over supers. Now, what about anything at 242, 221 you guys see that you like?
Rob and Luke have already pulled, haven't they?
I want to see Justin and Tito pull.
Who, Justin who?
That would be interesting.
Number 6.
Oh, Maynard. Oh.
And Tito number 4.
I think that might
Tito's really good.
Yeah.
Tito is really good.
He's really good. Out of all the guys I've had super match with, including Freddie, I think he was probably the strongest guy.
Wow.
Well, here's a question for you, Ed, because John is also trying to set up Justin with Scott. Which one of those two do you think is more appropriate for Justin, Tito or Scott?
If both are,
I can tell you right now.
That's what I'm saying. I think both are pretty.
I
know you love your
Scott.
boy and he is strong, but those are big fish.
Well, I love Scott even more. I've known Scott longer. I just watched them arm wrestle at the last practice. Scott has nothing for Justin unless he presses him. He literally has nothing for Justin unless he presses Justin. He takes Scott's hand every time, and he has too much back pressure. His arm's too long. His hand's too strong. Scott gets no cup. He has to shoot his shoulder forward and quick in order to do it.
I'm literally not calling you a liar by any means, but I don't see a lot of anybody just taking Scott's hand like that.
I'm going to show you right now.
Oh, okay, that's fine. And I'm just saying, like, in general, like, yeah, whether, like, if anybody of any name, like, I don't even think Ed's just in there just taking Scott's hand like that. Like,
that might be a good match. I don't know. I think Scott would take it. I mean, he would take the match.
You guys tell me. Oh, we've talked a lot about this match.
No, they're kicking it around. That's why.
When Justin wanted to have a match, I tossed around Ben's name, and then I was like, "Hey, why don't you do it with Scott?" And then Scott, it was kind of like a weird little back and forth, and then you didn't want him to take it, right? Is that what happened, John?
Hold on one sec.
You know who I want to see, who might be a good match? Justin and Johnny, DZ. What do you think about that, Ben?
I think is Justin. I think John gone all.
I think John is gone again.
I wonder if it has to do with him pulling up the YouTube.
You know what? Because he pulled up that video, I don't think Justin has that match.
I think the spirit of Scott has come into
the spirit of Scott
to rebuke his
Scott went to John's house, pulled his internet cord.
But no, Justin is definitely way out of my league. Him and exactly how much does Justin weigh? He's a deceptively sized person.
I think he said like almost 250, like 247
because he's got
or something.
He is my height or an inch taller.
He's a big dude.
He's a big dude.
There you go.
So him and I just think he might be a little too big for Johnny.
Johnny's also pretty big. I mean, Johnny's not tall, but he's also in the same weight class.
He's not small by any means, but Justin's a big dude.
You know, we have these people like the Justins, the Steves, and the Carlsons and stuff, and we grape up with them during practice, and they just feel like bricks.
Yeah,
you know, but maybe a match would be different. I mean, what you felt, Scott? You know, when he tenses up, when he's actually going hard.
Yeah.
It's different.
Speaking of which, with the Johnny and Justin thing, I would have to lean towards Justin based on the Nathan.
I think Justin would win. I'm with you that one.
Based on the Nathan Brown match, I think, because that was very close, and Nathan is strong, but he hasn't been keeping up with it lately.
Yeah,
and like when I feel Justin. Compared to me, he feels like rock solid. I can't do anything with him, especially in his hand. He just, he's a brick.
Justin is like an improved Steve. He's kind of in that style where he has a lot of like hand control type of thing.
It's from the wrist up. They're just absolutely solid. Just made of steel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the mother-son team just on that one. Yeah, I've got Justin winning that. But between him and Scott, what do you think? 3-0 Scott, or do you think?
I would have to say I was very curious to see what he was about to play. Because first off, especially lately, I'd say in the past 6 months, 8 months, it's really tough to get a beat on Scott in practice because he hasn't even been 100%. He's been like coming back from several injuries, left arm, right arm. He's been all kinds of messed up. So just because Justin may have been doing that in practice, that might not have been everything Scott had. That's tough to say. Based on just pure experience, I would have to lean towards Scott on that one. I'm just like, I don't know. Scott's a beast, man.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like there's certain guys.
Scott's hand is a little bit smaller, but you know what? I think if Scott loses his hand, I don't think it's a big deal for him.
No, he is very strong elbow, shoulder connection. I mean, that's his move anyways, whether he's got the wrist or not. Like he's very shoulder rolling inside.
Yeah, and I think if Scott loses his hand, he would go right for the press. He would slip. And
Exactly.
he would beat him in the straps.
Mm-hmm.
I have Scott winning that one 3-0.
That's what I would have to agree.
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna get off before freaking.
I was gonna say because last time it took a
We've been
little
here for
while.
2
We were
hours.
close to the end of the thing anyway. So, John, if you see this, appreciate you having me on. Thank you very much. Armcombat.com. Ed, good talking to you.
Thank you.
I'll see you next week.
See you, Ben.
Thank you very much, man. You have a good one.
See you, fellas.
Yeah, bye, guys. Proper stuff, not just to each
Bye,
other.
all,
We're not alone
4
here.
or
Goodbye,
5 of you.
Internet.
Sorry, y'all. Internet kept on going in and out. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream now. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next week. And we will not have this damn problem.